In 1993, Madonna bought Castillo del Lago, a Spanish-style estate in the Hollywood Hills. She only lived there for a few years before unloading it to its next occupant, Britney Spears. What happened to Madonna while she was living there, we don't know. But Britney Spears encountered something so inexplicable and so terrifying, she fled for her life and never returned. But the story doesn't end there. Spears sold it to another Britney, Brittany Murphy, who would ultimately die there, and Murphy's husband Simon Monjack would die there too months later. Had this haunted Hollywood mansion gone from scaring off the people who lived there to killing them? I'm John Genoa, host of America's Strangest History, and this is the true story of a Hollywood glamour home that chased away Britney Spears and claimed 2 lives before it was finally razed to the ground. Let's dive in. Britney Spears was riding high in 2001, the same year she purchased a home from Madonna. The Castillo del Lago was renamed the Rising Glen Road house because of its location, by Rising Glen Road. It sat atop the famed Sunset Strip with incredibly picturesque views. The house was 8,000 square feet with 5 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms. Britney was dating Justin Timberlake at the time, so presumably he would have spent some time there as well. It was ultimately Britney's makeup artist, a woman called Juliana Kay, who spilled the beans on Britney's purported paranormal encounter there. An encounter so terrifying, Britney literally abandoned her possessions and never went back. In a February 2021 podcast called We Need to Talk About Britney, Kay said a male friend who did Reiki healing visited Britney's home to do a healing session. Britney felt she needed it after a particularly crazy weekend of partying. Kay said that her Reiki healer friend came over, he did his thing, then left, after which Britney called her, swearing to God he opened some kind of spirit portal or something. Britney was screaming that bad spirits came in and were trying to push her down the stairs. The experience was so frightening, Britney immediately left the house and checked into the Casa del Mar Hotel. She left all her furniture and personal possessions behind and never returned. According to Kay, Britney said, "I know you're gonna think I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy. I know what I saw, and I know what I felt." And so, in June 2003, Spears sold the mansion to clueless and 8 Mile actress Brittany Murphy for just under $4 million. Murphy moved in along with her mom, Sharon Murphy, and later her boyfriend/fiancé, Simon Monjack. They lived there for 6 years. Monjack later said she absolutely hated the Rising Glen house and thought it was unlucky. According to him, every time they drove up Sunset to go home, Murphy would beg them to stay at the Beverly Hills Hotel instead. Monjack would refuse, saying they owned a 10,000 square foot home and nothing was going to drive him away. Monjack was listening though. He told reporters that to make her happy, he was planning on moving himself, her, and her mother to New York the following year. But that never happened. Murphy died at the home at just 32 on December 20th, 2009 after collapsing in the master bathroom, a room she spent most of her time in, according to Monjack. The coroner listed the cause of death as threefold: a combination of pneumonia, anemia, which is an iron deficiency, and multiple drug intoxication. Bizarrely, just 5 months later, on May 23, 2010, Murphy's 40-year-old, now widower husband Monjack also died at the home, also from acute pneumonia and severe anemia. Multiple sources suggested their Hollywood Hills property was contaminated by a toxic mold that may have caused or contributed to the deaths. But was that true? In 2010, the medical examiner's office dismissed the theory completely. However, Monjack's mother, Linda, told the press that Simon found severe mold in the home. Apparently, he was having hallucinations about things crawling out of his skin. Perhaps the combination of dust and mold could have exacerbated the pneumonia that both Murphy and Monjack were suffering from, or perhaps something else. Something Britney Spears encountered was responsible. Regrettably, we'll never know the answer. As executor of Murphy's estate, her mom tried selling the house for $7.25 million, but it was ultimately sold for just $2.7 million in 2011. That's $1 million less than Murphy paid for it in 2003. In 2013, the house was torn down and underwent a multi-year rebuild. When it was finally sold again for $14.5 million in 2017, the property looked nothing like its former self. The new home now measures almost 9,500 square feet with 5 bedrooms and 8.5 bathrooms. But before we put this story to bed, we have another quick story to add from Britney Spears. She had another chilling paranormal experience. Britney was staying at a haunted hotel in Germany. The hotel had a reputation for harmless but scary haunts, including the glowing apparition of a lady in white. The ghost would appear in the corner of a room at exactly 2:20 a.m. each night. And at 3 a.m., people could hear the sounds of a phantom carriage pulling up to the hotel. In a March 11, 2024 post, Brittany revealed the details of a ghostly encounter that happened while she was staying there on Halloween night around 20 years earlier. As she lay in bed asleep, she was awoken by a blast of cold air, followed by the feeling that something or someone was on top of her. She felt the weight of an invisible force press her deeper into the mattress. She also experienced difficulty breathing, as if being suffocated through manual strangulation. Brittany remained in this paralytic state, awake but unable to move for an undetermined time until whatever it was holding her down released her from its grip. Upon regaining motor control, Brittany ran to her assistant's room for help. Sounds like Brittany may have had a night terror or another form of sleep paralysis. Still, it was enough to scare her out of her mind. I'm John Genoa. Let us know what you think in the comments and please subscribe. We'll be back with more from America's Strangest History soon. Thanks for watching.